Hey guys, it's Kimberly back with the Twin Flame family. Thanks for everyone who's checking out that video I posted yesterday for the Twin Flame collective reading for this upcoming week. I think there's a lot of resonance there for many of you, and many of you, you've come off of like an emotional week, or the feminine soaring in her power, or she's hearing from the masculine, or those little glimmers of awakening are happening, and so there's a lot of resonance there with some of those messages. So I appreciate your feedback, and I appreciate everybody checking that out. It may be something even you want to go back and listen to at the end of the week too, to see, also how it resonates with you then. But, I want to remind everybody not to put so much stock in, in like the readings and the twin flame, predictions, because I do trust in my channel of messages, and I know that many times there's a lot of resonance for those of you in the collective, and it helps to provide clarity and clear blocks. But sometimes when you're leaning on readers and healers too much, and it's still attached to that outward fixation on your twin flame, and it's not healthy. Because the journey is not about that, and it's not about when union is going to happen or if there's a guarantee. And I just want to make sure, because I received a couple of messages that were a little bit, just not in alignment with where I want my deliverance and my teachings to be. And some of the lower vibrational messages I've been receiving, it's like, I called an 800 number. She told me I'm not, this is not my twin flame. Can you tell me if he is? And it's like, you guys who know me, you know that that's not the work I do. I'm not here to validate your twin flame connection. I am a soul coach, and I'm helping you gain your ascension tools to navigate this journey of self-mastery and kind of clear the energetic blocks around the union and around your perception of the union or the connection, the twin flame connection, to help you recognize what it is sparked within you and what your duty is here, moving forward and carrying this out. So with that said, I want to speak to two things primarily. One is that I'm also hearing from a lot of the second wave divine feminine who are kind of, in alignment with me and my journey as well, my personal journey. So second wave, a lot of us had, a separation, coming together, and then a separation like April or May of 2016. And it's transpired differently for each of us since that point. But that's what I consider a second wave, and what I know to be a second wave. So anyhow, a lot of the second wavers I'm finding, and I'll speak to myself as well, that's the second piece of this, are starting to, or have been starting to disassociate with the twin flame, let's say family, okay? Not with my channel in particular, but just with the whole twin flame concept and identity. And so I want to just point out that when you disassociate with it because you feel like it's constraining you in some way, it may just be time for you to find some new teachers and healers, especially the ones like Allison Lassard, who she started out speaking only to twin flames, and now she does like divine love readings, and she's talking more to those on the ascension journey. And I'm going to be gearing my channel that way too, because it just makes more sense. And I think, I'm not as interested in working with those that are coming to me and saying, am I with my twin flame? I really want to help those on the journey who are already like at that point of like, help me understand this better so that I understand my responsibility in this and how I navigate it. And then I can help you from there. And that's just the honest truth from where I stand and the work that I desire to do, and that I feel I'm qualified to do and want to do with you. There are other healers that can validate things for you. And if that's what you want, go do that. Or if you want to be hung up on the timelines, go ahead. But that's not what the journey's about. So I just want to remind you of all that. And so those of you that are just finding the channel or just kind of embarking on the journey, Again, I can help many of you if, like in private session or through readings or soul coaching sessions, if you're at the point where you really want to introspect or look at yourself, focus on your self-healing, focus on your mission, when you're ready to relinquish that attachment and really figure out, how do I ease into surrender and make this a part of my life and make this a part of, who I am, how I, move through my life. And so it won't be so much of that heavy, it feels like I'm saying heavy, and it really feels like that because, when you have a twin flame that's the, let's say, less awakened one or not as awakened yet, they are not ready to awaken just because you want them to. So it's like, it almost reminds me, I've used analogies like this before, but it almost reminds me of throwing the hook or the line over the ship and pulling up a 2,000-pound net of fish, right? And it's so heavy and you can't get it up and you're trying to pull it up. You're oh, and then you let go because you can't get it up and it falls to the bottom of the ocean. And this is what it is. It's if you want to keep fighting that struggle or that battle, then, keep trying to change your twin. But your twin flame healing and awakening is correspondent to your awakening and healing, and you're releasing the outward fixation on your twin flame. He or she has their own journey to navigate, and if you're in separation, there's a reason. It's because he or she is supposed to be doing that as an individual. And so I've said a lot lately about honoring the connection at a soul level, in the 5D, and knowing how sacred that is, and knowing how beautiful that is, but doing that without attachment. And I feel like you guys are getting really tripped up with this because there is still that need to know, that need to, why should I wait for him? Or why? It's no one's telling you to put your life on hold. No one's telling you to accept treatment that's not in alignment for you. No one's telling you to stay in a toxic dynamic. That is not what this journey is about in any way, shape, or form. This is about you actually breaking away from the toxicity, looking into the sacred mirrors when things are mirrored, but stepping away from the toxicity, finding your identity as yourself, as a twin flame individual, as the 1-1, right? Well, we see the 11-11. It's 1-1, twin flame, right? And so this is your whole fixation right here. This is where your focus is, on you, on your self-love, self-worth. Now, the things that are held up in the sacred mirror, those are the things that will help, where you're feeling the triggers, where you're feeling the tugs, even in the separation. Those are the things that will help you. They're like the little compass, the little arrow showing you where you need to heal further, where we can step more into our power, where we have the insecurities, where we can heal more and step into our divine feminine power, divine masculine. And so I just wanted to clarify that again, because it seems like with this, I don't know whether it's the insurgence of the third wave of twin flames or whether it's just, because I'm getting the insurgence of the new wave of twin flames. There's a lot of confusion about what twin flames are. And with the second wavers, a lot of the divine feminine, like I said, they want to disassociate from the identity of twin flame. I have a problem with that, though, and it's okay. You need to do what you need to do, but I think my guidance would be for you, and I mean, I've heard this from a couple of my close friends who are soul sisters, twin flames in the journey, a couple of clients lately, some comments and emails. It's a repeating pattern. I'm pulling away from this. I don't want to associate with it. It's too this or that, and I just really want to focus on my own self-healing. But that's what this is. That's what this is. Those readings that I put out weekly, they're for you so that like you can kind of gauge the energies of the collective and understand maybe what might be going on the other side with your twin flame. So it'll help, like, you know, your 3D message, your 5D messages, sorry, and your dreams and the signs and synchronicities kind of click into place and kind of make more sense for you, so you can like have some relief or energy towards like the positive things along this journey and the things to look forward to and the things that are shifting, you know, that are unseen. And I think sometimes the disassociation is just saying like, my ego doesn't want to be attached to my twin flame, and I don't know how not to be attached. So I am just going to not watch any of these videos, not participate in the community, and not be a participant in this. And that's okay, you know. But there are teachers in the twin flame community who are putting out ascension tools, and those are the teachers you need to align with for those of you that are at that phase. Because what you're saying is, I don't want to be fixated on the outcome. Well, beautiful. Yay. That's surrender. That's unconditional love. That is what this journey is about. So all it means is that you just got to line up with the messages that are more in alignment now for that next level that you're at. And a lot of the second wave feminine, you're there. But it doesn't mean disassociation. And a lot of you have said to me, and I really do understand this, and I want to speak to my personal journey as well. You know, you say like, from where I stand right now, it just seems like this will never heal. Like my twin flame is never going to heal or fully awaken. And I really do understand that. From where it stands right now with me, it feels the same way. But there's an allowance here, and the allowance is I'm going to allow him to figure that out for himself. And this is why we're being called to take space with one another right now. So it's really odd, but today I put this is a dress. I put this dress on. I haven't worn it for over a year. And the last time I wore it was the very last time I saw my twin flame before we went into a separation. And I actually feel like this may be the last day I see him before we go into our separation. That's in perfect alignment for us. And I'm going to speak more to that. So anyhow, there's something about it that you just have to trust. And you know, this isn't, it could take my twin flame years, or he could never awaken in this lifetime. But see, I don't know what we've contracted. I have glimmers of things, of messages and feelings about him. And I have my own hopes. And you know what? You also cannot romanticize the 3D. Because when you romanticize the 3D, this does create that veil of illusion or delusion. And we have to be sure that when we're honoring like the soul level stuff, the coming together, the love, the purity of the connection, of the real love that's there, that it's just as such that we're not trying to pull that down into 3D reality and romanticize it. Because that's when it can be a bit delusional, right? And then we get attached to things. And then these things don't happen on our timeline. And we're like, huh? And we get disappointed in that whole thing. So try to remember that those higher perspective things that you feel, as magical as they are, hold the vision. But try not to pull it down into fruition before it's time. Or, you know, with the attachment or the expectation. You know, I'll be honest, my twin flame and I were connecting intimately several days ago. And I had this overwhelming sensation of us. We were in a photo shoot, and I was pregnant with twins. And I could feel my belly. Like I've never been able to imagine this in my life. And I've never been pregnant with a belly. So I could feel the belly and the veins and everything. And we were we were standing naked doing this photo shoot. And I mean, it was really beautiful. It was like our pre-babies. We were bringing twins into the world, they were telling me. And really interesting. I don't know where that came from, you know? And I could sit here and be attached to that and be like, oh my God, we're going to live happily ever after. And we're going to have babies. We're going to be married. But, you know, I don't know that now. And especially from where things are right now, it certainly doesn't feel like that. But that is where that might be a future lifetime. This may be some higher self path that we may not take, but it's just showing me like what that feeling is. Or maybe we're birthing twins where we're giving back to other twins. Like, I don't know what that's all symbolic of or representative of, but I wanted to share that with you because I could romanticize that all day, but it's not healthy to do that. But I can remember what that feels like, and I remember the purity of the love there, and I remember that insanely special connection and sacred, oh my God, just beautiful. Like, it just was like ultimate twin flames. I could feel it. Our bodies, the soul, the passion, the bringing new life, the whole thing. But I want to remind you, don't get attached, just honor. So like honor that with no other attachments. Just honor it. That is you. That is us at some level. Okay? Where it becomes toxic and when we really walk that fine line is when we start to romanticize that and go, oh, but why isn't this happening? Or, oh, I want that. Or why can't that be happening? And I know this is going to happen, so I'm going to shut my door to everyone else who walks into my life. And it's like, you can't. My twin flame and I are going into a separation, and it's been orchestrated through the universe for us. And he, quite frankly, has hugely narcissistic tendencies. Like, he's, I mean, to me, a covert narcissist. And it's been wildly psychologically abusive for me. And I also stood there for as long as I needed to look in the mirror to understand where this is coming from. And some of the realizations that I had was that it wasn't even from, like, my dad had some bipolar, borderline personality stuff going on, but it wasn't even that, because a lot of our triggers came from my father, and a lot of his triggers came from, like, in me, came from his father. But the one thing that I've noticed is that the narc dance that I'm doing, it's very close and similar to my relationship with my sister as an early child. And she was very narcissistic with me. And I'm talking about the turning the tables, the blaming me, the gaslighting. And I mean, this was something that probably, I was very empathic. I was very intuitive at an early age. I wanted to always please her. I thought the more I loved her, the more she would love me back. And I tried to be the Band-Aid in the family and tried to be the glue. And I never got it back from her. Even now, all these years later, she's never really healed that. And I guess I have strands of that. Like, you can call it overconscientiousness, codependency, or just the sort of the plight of the empath when you're in that narc, dynamic. And it's very dangerous. I mean, my twin flame, I know at the soul level how much he does love me. I also know in the plane of reality how much he's incapable of loving me at any real level. And it is sad. It is hard. It is hard. And if I hadn't been doing the work on myself, are you kidding me? I would be destroyed right now. But luckily, all the while, I've been sort of allowing myself to go down this path. And looking in this mirror, because it allowed me to clear a lot of my stuff out, to have the aha moments on so many levels. There's so much purging, so much. And I needed to do that with him. He is my twin flame. So the comments are disabled on this video, but I don't care what you guys say. Oh, he's just a karmic relationship. He's not. He's my twin flame. I don't need anyone else to validate that for me. But what I'm trying to tell you is, even when it's your twin flame, like, he has to want to face himself, okay? And many narcissists don't ever want to, you know? And then a narcissist that has the substance abuse along with it, it's so toxic. And it's so hard for someone who is a giver, and I am that. I'm a nurturer and a giver, and I'm conscientious, and I'm compassionate, and I haven't received any of that from my twin flame. Like, seldom even an apology, and just a lot of gaslighting, a lot of making me look like the bad guy, a lot of turning the tables, a lot of very hurtful behavior. And if I had the ego that I had 5 years ago, or 10 years ago, or 15 years ago, let me tell you, I would be in major rebel mode right now. But I'm not. I don't. My ego has very much dissolved, and there's a bit of me that still has some anger and sadness to work through. Absolutely. But the best way I've learned to do that is to just go into it, to let it flow through me, to go all the way into it, to acknowledge it, to understand, to learn from these lessons, to know that this was a dance that we orchestrated, that this was here for my healing, and I, from it, have come so far. Now, there's some of you who haven't been practicing your personal power, aren't on your mission, aren't in the awakening, and doing a dance with a narcissist at this level could be a major nightmare. And let me tell you, there have been pieces of it for me that are, but it hasn't threatened my well-being, thankfully. I'm reading a book right now, and it's a really great tool. Some of you might enjoy it. It's called Discovering Your Soul Signature. It's a 33-day path to purpose, passion, and joy by Panache Desai. Panache Desai is amazing, and it's a really simple read, and it's a great 33-step type program, but it really enables you to go into the emotions of things. So that way we're not skipping over the processing of. Boy, we can work through things so much easier when we actually go into the fear and flush it out, when we go into the sadness and let it dissolve and dissipate. And it's really, really helpful. So I highly recommend that, especially for those of you getting on mission. And this is great. This is really about your authentic purpose, and getting through the fear blocks, getting through the sadness, getting through the things that hold us back, and discovering what that is without the ego involved. And so, yeah, and I like the way he packages it up, because it's different than any other spiritual teacher guru right now. So, yeah, I highly recommend that. But getting back to, with narcissistic behavior, you guys, or substance abuse, or any of those toxic things that you may be going through, for those of you in the Twin Flame Collective, one thing I wanted to tell you is that there is a fabulous YouTube channel, and this creator has made a cartoon of some of the narcissistic scenarios with dialogue and everything. And if you guys are questioning whether you are in a twin flame or soulmate connection with a narcissist, I highly recommend watching this, because you'll be able to identify right away through watching these cartoons that it's you. You're going to be like, oh my God, it's me. Oh my God, that's exactly what happens. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So the channel is Dr. Jekyll, okay? And let's see. Let's see if I can help you find it any better. Yeah, it's Dr. Jekyll, doctor with no period. Dr. Jekyll, Jekyll. Go subscribe to that and watch some of these animations, because it's uncanny if you got, and how you guys will relate for those of you that are doing a dance with a narcissist. So biggest thing in narcissistic relationships, especially for the empaths, the codependents, and those of us who may have had narcissistic parents or sisters or siblings, and where we, want to be the Band-Aid, we want to be the do-gooder, and we want to give, and we want to, we're not understanding that we are sacrificing our integrity by not setting a boundary. And so the most important, piece of the healing is self-love. Is going back to self-love, value, self-worth. And, a lot of this work, and a lot of you, I feel like, are in dynamics with narcissistic or narcissistic, twins, or the twins that have those traits. And it's not always because you do. It's maybe like me, where you grew up with it and you are on the opposite spectrum, where you're codependent, or, like I said, empathic, and just, always the giver. And, with that said, I'm also not, I'm not a doormat. You guys know I'm very articulate and very strong, and it doesn't matter. You can still be a strong, articulate, in your power type of person, but there's still a wound there that's calling to be healed. And I think for me, it's truly one of the last, big pieces of my core wounds that's been reflected to me. And unfortunately, or fortunately, it's coming through, a painful separation, breakup, but it is supposed to be this way. I can no longer, nor do I want to any longer, stand in front of someone who is mistreating me, not receiving or appreciating the love that I'm truly giving. And because I'm just so much further into my awakening and healing now, especially with these last few pieces that I needed to get it all up here in the awareness, part of my existence. And so now that I'm aware of it, it's I've grieved already. I've already gone into the sadness. I've already released the fear. I'm already doing the mission work. I'm already awakening. I'm already in the healing journey. I'm already teaching. I'm already, and it's of course, there's always going to be new layers to uncover, new pieces. But this is the big one. And the big one is I'm no longer doing the dance, because I got all the messages in the mirror already. I got them. Now I can go and, continue to work on those on my own. But for him, it could take, this is not up to me. I can't, cast my net over, try to pull up a 2,000 pound, net of fish or whatever is down there, and, pull. This is not up to me to pull him up. So if he wants to awaken, he will. And I have to still believe that there is a pure love there, that vision that I had with the twins and that union that I felt, that is real on a soul level. It's just, is it real enough for him to awaken? And so I truly, truly do want to be your experiment. And my guides have told me, and I hope you're watching the end of this video, because my guides have told me 5,000%, they're like, you're supposed to be the experiment. I'm like, okay, for what? And they're like, well, you're supposed to go, all right, I'm the experiment. This is how it's been, the message has been flowing to me. I'm just going to keep on my healing journey. I'm not going to hate my twin flame, although there's lots to hate, right? There's a lot of hurt. There's a lot of stuff that hasn't been fair, hasn't been just, hasn't been loving, hasn't been unconditional from his side. And so, but I'm going to let that all go, because I choose to, because I already went into the sadness. I already went into the fear. I already went into the regret. I already went into all of it, and I released it. And, does that mean I'm throwing a party, doing a dance? No. Will I not miss my twin? Of course I'm going to miss him. We have beautiful parts of our relationship and things that seemed very loving to me. But overall, it doesn't line up with what I want, what I feel like is an alignment for me at this time. And I have to open the door to what is. And that may mean a life partner or soul partner, someone coming in for me sometime soon, because I feel good. I mean, I'm feeling good despite all of this. And so what he chooses to do with this, that's up to him. So he could go downward spiral, or he could catch on to those glimmers or awakening, or maybe this separation, again, this physical, painful separation will be something that helps him open to another layer. Maybe there's a few more karmic relationships that he needs to go through to help reiterate the messages. You know, that's not up for me to control. There's nothing I can do about it. So I just have to just keep walking my path. So if I'm the experiment for you, it's like this. I don't hate my twin. I love him. Despite all of the, you know, abuse and the toxicity and the whatever has transpired, I own responsibility for all of my stuff and all of my shit and all of the things that, you know, hurt him or, you know, whatever came up during my purging and healing. I'm thankful for it. I'm grateful for it. It sparked the biggest turning point of my life. I wouldn't have this channel without it. And, or the platform to share my gifts. But the experiment is that I'm just going to continue on now. And I want you to watch me and see what happens. Okay? And that doesn't mean I'm not going to have days that I don't struggle, that I won't miss the contact with him. I mean, narcissistic abuse is the hardest to walk away from. They got you hooked, you know? It's a toxic hook. But like I said, I'm in a healthy place with it. So I do want to serve as this for you. So you're going to watch through me how this plays out over the next 3 or 4 months. And I will give you updates. And I feel like it's my duty to share that with you. So you'll know if someone new comes in for me. You'll know it, you know, if when or how the twin flame reaches out, if he's made progress, how this all, you know, plays out. I mean, I could keep updating you probably for a couple of years. Who knows what's going to happen? But I want to be the experiment for you on just allowing, you know, just allowing. I don't know what's next for me. I don't know. Could he come back in healed? Maybe he'll go to therapy and he'll stop drinking and he'll go face himself and come back and be able to like apologize and own responsibility for his stuff. Could be. But maybe I'll meet someone else that I could share my life with who's in a much higher vibration with me and is already ready for what I'm ready for. Maybe. Maybe I'll just spend some time on my own clearing the remnants of this stuff, this empathic, codependent, you know, stuff that I've realized. But either way, it's about allowing. When we just allow it, it's just going to be so much easier. And so maybe through me sharing my experience with you, that'll help you trust this a bit better. Okay? Because I have a feeling what lies up ahead for me is happy, is abundant, is lots of love flowing in. And I'm not saying that that's not with him, but I don't know that. Okay? And so we're going to see how this all plays out. And I'm going to share it with you, you know, now and then as we go along in between my videos of, you know, teaching and readings and stuff like that. I'll post videos so that you know. So any of you that are chiming into this dedicated message, this is just for you and you're watching this for a reason. You're supposed to be seeing this and I want you to hone in on this because there's, for some reason, you're supposed to see how I navigate it. And I'm not saying I'm going to be perfect with it, but I'm in a place where I can be, and the guides are telling me I can be like the experiment. So all of you who are afraid to surrender or afraid about the outcome or afraid that, you know, or mourning and grief because you're like, you don't think you're receiving the outcome that you wanted. Let me just take that all on for you. And why don't you just see how it all plays out, okay? And that's not to say that my situation is going to play out like yours does, but I think it's going to be a really great metaphor for surrender, continuing on mission, awakening, learning, lining up with what's in alignment for you, and allowing the twin flame to heal without the hatred, without the ego attachment, without the needing or the wanting. And I'm going to try to do that as best as I can for you so that you can see how this does play out. Okay? So tune in. Stay tuned into my channel. And I hope that's been a helpful message. And I will talk to you guys soon. Okay. Bye. Mwah.